Look at that. Now we're back and we're actually getting this done. I'm gonna tell you guys this. I didn't even do too much research on what this next law that we're gonna go over is really about, but it's the law of vibration. I'm gonna go off the top of my head what I believe represents best the law of vibration and examples that I can give from my personal experience and my personal scenarios that I've went through throughout my life. Which law are we going over today? It's gonna be the one and only the law of vibration. Now, what this law states is that everything and anything is always a constant movement. Everything and anything is always a constant movement. So what does that mean? That means that anything in the physical world, anything in the mental world, anything from the external, anything from the internal is a constant movement. So if you look at that chair there that's just sitting in your room, right? It's still, right? But if you look at it in the quantum level, you will see that it is moving. It's a constant movement. Everything is constantly vibrating. Whether you can see it or not, that's just how it is. Nothing is ever just still. Nothing in this world is ever just still. And the law of vibration states that everything is constantly moving because it gets into the fact that everything at the end of the day is energy. So you can interact with anything within your reach and within your perspective. You can interact with anything. You can influence anything in your life. You can influence anything in this world if you really want to go there. But people's knowledge on this is very limited because they don't seem to come across information that reveals what exactly or how exactly can you influence these things in your life, or how can you put into action these laws, right? So this is why we're here today. We're gonna go over a couple of examples on how you can apply the law of vibration to your life and how you can just begin to take advantage of this knowledge. Now, we're talking about energy right now. What I mean that the way you can connect the fact that everything is is constantly moving, everything is in constant vibration with energy is self-explanatory. Your energy. What is your energy when you walk into a room? How do you act? How do you look? How do you present yourself? How do you how are you perceived by other people? It's not really about how you look. It's really about how you're approaching people, your approach to things. So that's your energy. Now, you can influence anything in your life, anything in any situation, if you have the right energy, if you're aligned with the energy that you want to be at in order to influence what you want to influence, if that makes sense. So in order to influence, for example, you want to get a better job, right? You want to be in the energy of abundance, and you want to tell yourself and keep your mind open to being abundant in opportunities. There's an infinite amount of opportunities and possibilities out there, and that's just the truth. There is jobs everywhere. You just have to look. But the people that are telling themselves, no, it's too hard, there's nothing right now, they're not putting no effort into it, and they're telling themselves to just settle with what they have at the moment. Those are the people that are gonna stay in the same position, and they're not gonna move forward. You have to be able to expand your mind to infinite possibilities. Nothing stays the same as long as it changes here. So if you can imagine it in your mind, you can make it happen in the world. Imagining it is just 50% of the job. The other 50% is doing it. And once you start doing it, you start moving closer and closer and closer to whatever your desired goal is. And your energy is one of the main things you should be watching in order to get better at influencing certain aspects of your life. Relationships, situations, how we were talking about, jobs, positions in life. It all starts with your energy. Now, another thing that we can go over here about energy is the fact that you can also work with your energy to provide different things. So I'm actually gonna go over something right now. Let's see this. Look, I got a book here, and I'm gonna go over some examples on how you can begin to apply this law to your life. And some of you might think that I wasn't very prepared for this video, and I was prepared in the sense of me writing down what I wanted to say, but not in the sense of me memorizing it. So what we're gonna go over here is gonna be exactly that. Gonna go over what exactly are we wanting to teach you guys here. So we will go over a number of actions you can take today in order to start applying this knowledge for your benefit. So knowledge is useless if you don't apply it. That's correct. So knowledge can be it could be intriguing, it could be exciting to come across, right? You ever meet those people that they listen to you and you hit them with some wisdom or something, and you make sense, and they're listening and they're like, oh my God, wow, yes, you're right, wow, I never looked at it like that, wow. They're like flabbergasted. But they don't use the knowledge. They just take it in, and they don't do nothing with it. They just kind of live throughout their lives with it. And it's just quite sad, to be honest with you. So what we're gonna do today, our main goal is gonna be applying these things. So this is not conspiracies. These are the keys and rules that are ingrained in the fabric of our reality, and our decisions, actions, and mindsets shape the world around us. Okay? So I am taking a different approach to this subject by explaining it to you to the best of my ability. Again, you can go and do your own research if you want. I encourage that, actually. And my goal is to further people's understanding on these concepts, and I enjoy it. So why not? I do enjoy it. That's why I could effortlessly start and explaining and talking to you guys about it without a problem, really. So I'm gonna summarize this for you guys. So it starts off with energy, reactions, emotions, and actions. So we went over energy, right? That's one of the main ways you can begin to shift your vibration. By the end of this, you're going to have an idea of what exactly is your vibration. You emit a specific vibration on the daily basis to the people around you, to your environment, to your workplace, school, family, everywhere. Everywhere you show up, every room you walk in, everyone you interact with, you emit a specific vibrational frequency that, whether you're aware of it or not, affects you. It affects your life. Sometimes positively, sometimes negatively. You're not really aware of what does what. That's what I'm trying to get to right here. That's what I'm trying to make people understand more of by shedding more light onto these things. Now, energy is one of the ways to start influencing it, correct? Your reactions is also a big one. So when somebody does something to try and get you mad, or does something that knows is gonna get you mad or is gonna piss you off, they're expecting a specific reaction out of you. Do you give them that reaction? Think about it. Most of the time, I think we're all victim to this. We do give them the reaction that they want because it's common sense. Now, that's another vibrational frequency that you're on. You're giving people what they expect. So you're letting people control you at the end of the day. So let's just say that person A, right, does X, and you react with Z. You react with Z, right? Now, person A knows that whenever they do X to you, you will react with Z. So that's some sort of understanding that they have on your psychology at this point. So by definition, you're letting them control you. That's what I'm trying to get at here. You want to control yourself. Don't let people control your feelings, control your emotions. Control them yourself. When you get mad at certain things, think to yourself, is it worth displaying this frustration on the external world. Because one thing is the internal, right? It's all in here. This is all where it all starts at, in your mind. Now it's up to you and your judgment whether you want to display it to the world or not. It's up to you. It all starts here. So become aware of the way you react to different things and whether you're happy with those reactions or not. It's all up to you. So that's reactions right there. Now we're going to talk about emotions. Emotions is also big. Even though emotions happen here, they're also a big role into shaping whatever it is that your frequency is and vibration. We're going to talk about frequencies at some point. There's a law that's about that specifically, but right now we're talking about vibration. So the main thing here is just getting you to understand what your vibe is on a daily basis, and I want you guys to understand it so you guys can become aware of how you can influence it and how you can use it to your advantage, like we said. So your emotions, they're also important because that is actually one of the main keys to creation in this world. So if you have emotions, strong emotions towards something, and you act on it, there's a extremely high chance you're gonna have a huge influence on it. Whether it's negative or positive, it's up to you and your actions, how you act on it or what you do to act on it. So I can't really say what it's gonna be, but what I can say is when there is emotion and action involved, those two keys right there are extremely powerful. And not a lot of people know that. So, now, the most important one here that I believe it is going to be actions right there. Now, what we're going to talk about actions is pretty self-explanatory, right? So, do you think actions are important? Of course they're important. How do they influence your life? And how do they influence your vibration, which is what we're talking about? We'll get into it. There's a quote that will sum up how these two are related. You are what you do. So this quote right here sums up how actions is directly related to your vibration that you emit daily. And what do I mean by how it's connected? Well, your actions make up the person that you are. So what you do on a regular basis, on the daily, defines who you are as a person in the physical world. Do we agree on that? Of course. Because just like that hard worker that does construction, right? Goes to work every day, uses his hands, and does tough work and becomes stronger and gets hurt from time to time. Those are all effects of his actions. It's his actions. He is what he does. You are what you do. So, people can also pick up on that when they're reading your vibration. Your vibration plays a big part on who you are. Okay? So, if you have a high vibration, you will have some maybe habits, or you might be doing something on a daily basis that not a lot of people do. And that could be something as little as going to the gym. It could be something small like that. But it's something that not everybody does. But you do it. So your vibration is different. Everybody's vibrational frequency is completely different. And I can feel people's vibration when they're in front of me. And I can tell I can't really tell exactly what they do, but I can judge whether they are productive or not. Think about what you do when you're by yourself. Do you take out your phone? Do you just sit there? Do you think? Do you turn on the TV? Do you read a book? Do you write? Know what I'm getting at? It's up to the things that you do that's gonna make up who you are. And that's all gonna affect your vibration. Maybe come up with a plan. I would suggest you come up with a plan on who do you want to become. Who do you want to become as a person? And figure out, doesn't need to be too many. 2-3 habits that you can implement to get closer to that person every day. Now, one note that I wanted to say here is, even though we went through all 4 of these here, 4 examples that you could be watching on your daily life and you could be paying attention to on yourself in order to switch your vibrational frequency. Look, switching your vibrational frequency, the end goal here is basically having that vibe, right? You watch those videos of aura, vibe. People with a cool vibe, people with strong vibrational frequency. That's what it means. That's definition of it. So if you watch these things here, you'll be able to influence your vibe. And only certain people will be able to recognize how important that is in someone's life. Only certain people will be able to recognize that. And if you're not one of them, if you fail to recognize it, it's okay. So, one thing I'd like to point out is that not all of these have to be carefully watched, of course. And what I meant by that was that it'll be too difficult, of course, because it'll be difficult even for me, for anybody, to watch all 4 of these at the same time. Trying to keep keep track of your energy and your reactions and your emotions. Just watching your emotions. Emotions is more of observing and deciding which ones you want to let out into the world and which ones you don't. And we went over those two most important keys that involve emotions and actions, right? Actions as well. So you can start with something like actions, right? Fix your actions. What are you doing that you probably shouldn't be doing? Start by watching your actions, or start by watching your emotions. Start by watching your reactions or your energy. Focus on one at a time. Get better at doing it. You have to be consistent with it. Because if you just watch it for a day and then the next day you just forget about it, there's no point. There's no point in even paying attention to it at all. So be consistent with it, and after 2-3 weeks, you'll see some results. That's it with this book. So the main thing here that we want you to take away from this is the fact that these 4 things here is what influence your vibe. This is all for your vibe.
You know, the only difference in steam and ice is the state of vibration of the water or the H2O. Do you know the only difference in where you are versus where you want to go is your state of vibration? Do you know that everything to get you there is already here? You know what it is you want, and you ask yourself, what habits do I need to form or develop to bridge the gap from where I now find myself to the point I want to reach?